consider the activities that fill out your day, like commuting, working, relaxing at home, and even socializing. Now, take a moment to think about how many hours you spend sitting throughout the day. If this number is over 7, you're likely in a suboptimal group, and you're not alone, as 60 to 85% of adults spend a significant portion of their day being inactive. I know what you're thinking, but the answer is no. I'm sorry. You just cannot learn those video editing skills. It's something that you either have or you don't. Genetic, basically. Okay, now that we've addressed the elephant in the room, we can get to the topic at hand. And that is finding ourselves in these types of positions throughout the day. As we covered, happens to all of us. And it's only normal. But now let's talk about first why that's a problem, and then I'll try and give you solutions step by step on what we can do and how that benefits us, why, etc. Now, why it's a problem. Basically, if we sit for more than 7 hours in a day, cumulatively, it starts to impact our health in a negative way in all kinds of different ways as well, and altogether. Your joints get weaker, you get joint pain, you get worse posture, muscles atrophy. That posture can lead then to pain like headaches, can lead to pain down your spinal column, so back pain, and all kinds of other pains that come with it. Then there's cardiovascular issues, so problems with blood pressure. And as we want our cardiovascular health to be good, then we want to avoid this. There's mental problems as well that come with a lot of sitting. There's a whole bunch of other stuff as well, but these should give you a framework of like what we're dealing with and how serious and important it is to address this. Now, it will depend on your age. It will depend on other factors like what kind of a job it is you do, if you have an injury. All of this can impact how active you are throughout the day, but whatever the case may be, you can still do something about that, still be somewhat active. Even anecdotally, like if you have your own experience with this or know anybody with it or ask any doctor as well, like patients after surgery, they need to move. They won't run a 5K marathon or anything else, 5K race, marathon, different things. But they will need to move. They need to get the circulation going. They need to get those muscles moving and be ready for being more active, so step by step, and that will lead to their recovery being faster, but also being complete, that they want to recover. That's one thing. Now, as we said, it depends on all these factors, and we don't want to do too much too quickly. So if we sit a lot, we don't want to go and have a race right away. We don't want to go sprinting. So we want to gradually work towards that. Go for walks, things like this. So we'll get to that. But first, the one small but yet still beneficial thing that I can do is move from this couch to this balancing ball. Now I'm still going to be in a sitting position, but this will be better for me because I'll be more active, believe it or not. Why will I be more active? Simply because I need to engage my core muscles more. Otherwise, I'll fall off the chair, or off the ball rather. When you are on this ball, so you activate your core to stabilize yourself and the ball. You can can move a little bit within it, and you'll activate different stabilizing muscles for that, but you will still be sitting. Now, this can be good if you're working from home, if you can have a good position while you're on a computer or you're watching TV or on the phone. It's better than just being on the couch. But as we said, it's not the best one, so what we want to do is be more active. And here's how we do that. And I'll take you with me on this journey. Now, our first stop is not very far from the couch, that is true, but it's an important stop. So we're going to talk about and do some stretching first. Then gradually, as I mentioned, we'll go further and further away from the couch being the metaphor for inactivity. Now, I guess you already guessed that, right? Yeah. Anyway, why stretching is a good first start? Well, you don't have to leave your home. You can do some stretches in the comfort of your home. That's one thing. Being inside also means that you're not influenced by the weather. You can also control the temperature somewhat inside. So if it's too cold or too warm or hot outside, you're in here, you're comfortable, you can do your stretches. You don't need a lot of space for it, and anybody can do it. Depends on the stretch, but anybody can do some stretches. So for some people, for athletes, for example, stretches are great because they help them improve their movement. It helps also with minimizing the risk of injuries, warming up, so on. For beginners, it's a great way to start as well. All those benefits. There's also benefits to your cardiovascular health, your mental health, you relax after it. The breathing also helps here. There's help with your posture, so these kind of movements help there. And why don't I just show some while I talk? So from some easier ones, like these types of movements that help with your posture and back muscles. Now these not only give us a bit of stretching, but they also get us moving, which is what we want. Now, if you want static stretches, you can do those too. Some of them help with hips, so getting better hip mobility, which is something we all should want, since when you sit, your hips or hip flexors deteriorate, and then not only is your hip mobility in a bit of a pickle, but you also get issues with your posture, and that can lead to other types of problems like headaches that we mentioned, but other things as well. So yeah, doing these type of stretches is somewhat easy for most people. It would depend on the stretch, what stretch it is you're doing. If you want a little bit harder but also more beneficial in some ways, you could do something like this, which will open up those hips even more and get you through all kinds of other ranges of motion. Then the other thing that you get from stretches, yoga, and these types of movements is that you get ready for other types of workouts and activities, whatever sports you are doing, whatever exercises you're preparing for. Stretches will definitely give you some benefits or be of benefit. Now, depending and what it is you want to do. You'll do different types of stretches, but still, the thing is that you will get benefits. Now, as we said, benefits don't stop there. So you get to warm up, you get more flexible, you get minimized risk of further injury, and you negate the negative effects of sitting. So this is something that you can do 5-10 minutes a day, or even longer. 30 minutes of stretches is also great, depending on your level and what it is you're aiming for. You can do this every day or once every 2 days and so on. It will depend. But yeah, stretches are something that we can all do and should do, basically. Morning or evening, that's up to you. But stretches are our baseline. Now that we covered this, it's time to go outside, folks. So let me take you on a tour. Let's go. Okay, folks, we're finally outside, out for a little walk. It's a nice day, so it should be equally as nice of a walk. Now, we're out about, and what benefits can we yield from this type of movement and exercise? Because it is an exercise, after all. Well, there's the obvious benefits that I like to call. So one of the first ones would be cardiovascular benefits, health. And the second one would be muscle improvements, slight, but still, it works, it helps. And then there's the situational awareness. That is not as obvious. So situational awareness meaning you need to be aware of your surroundings, moving cars and people and traffic lights and all kinds of other stuff and objects that are in your way that you need to be aware of. Then spatial awareness, you get to measure distance better. And then there's other things like when different sounds are around you, and this particular environment where I'm at now isn't as urban as it could be, so that it's not that loud. But when it does get loud in the city, then it is more stressful, but then again you do improve your hearing and stress management and things of that nature. So that's one thing to be thankful for, at least. It is, as I said, it could be a bit stressful, but then again it helps you manage that stress. So having like how would you call it, a balance between the two, having a relaxing walk and then having a little bit more stressful walk would balance and even things out. Now, having that aside, as it's not of significant importance, the more important things, like getting your steps in. So lots of research has shown about having about 7,000 to 8,000 steps a day would reduce all-cause mortality in middle-aged people of up to 50%, which is significant. Now, having said that, it's beneficial for all other ages as well. So you do have to get those steps in every day, but it just depends on where you're at with your fitness. So you could first aim for 1,000 steps and then build up to 8,000 and 10,000. Now, for Those of you that get to 10,000, then you might get bored and want something more, then you increase and get more out of your workout. And that's not all. There's also, well, it's a bit windy now. There's also the Japanese walking method, which is like 3 minutes of fast walking and then 3 minutes of, well, this kind of speed basically. So slow walking or casual walking. And when you mix those for 30 minutes, so 3 minutes of slow and then 3 minutes of fast walking, then you get the same benefits in half an hour as you would as of getting 10 steps in. Now we're gonna have a little bit of a loud situation here since the truck is parked, but that's okay. We'll wait for it. I guess the usual when you're out in this time of the day. Anyway, you get those steps in. That's definitely gonna be of great benefit. Sorry for the loud noise. And then once you have your steps covered, then you can do whatever else you want to do, which could include some more exercise if you want to work extra on your longevity, on your health. So getting the cardio, the steps, and then doing some heavier lifting would be of benefit. So those are the main things for when it comes to walking. So gets your cardio done for the day. You should do it daily. So 30 minutes or so of walking would do it. If you're aiming for those 10,000 steps without the Japanese method, then it's going to take longer than 30 minutes, but that's okay. You'll feel better. So that's the important thing. Mood improves significantly as well when you're walking every day. You'll notice it within, well, I think about a week or so. If you're inactive for a long time, then you get to be active and go outside for your daily walk. You'll see that improvement. That's a guarantee. It doesn't have to be here. It could be anywhere. I mean here as in it doesn't have to be your neighborhood. Just walk anywhere. And don't worry about the steps and other things at first. Just do what feels good. Sometimes you'll want to just have a casual walk with a friend or alone around the city or anywhere else, and that's fine. Just do you. Also, one of those benefits that are obvious is that when you're walking in an urban environment, or I guess your neighborhood like I am now, then you can get other things done, like get your laundry, do the shopping, meet with friends, stop at a cafe, all kinds of things like that, which are pretty beneficial. Now, comparing it to a different type of walking, which would be hiking, is a little bit different, but that's what we're going to do in the next segment. So I think I've said enough for an urban walk. Hope you enjoyed this one, and sorry if the video is too shaky, but I'll see you hopefully in a second. Huh. What are you doing there? Well, since you're already here, I guess we can talk about some hiking. Yeah, I got some time. You got some time? Yeah, I guess we can do this. So, yeah, we're in a forest. Why not talk about hiking? Some benefits and some downsides, as there are with anything. So, the benefits. cardiovascular boost right off the bat. Like with anything else we talked about, this one's got it covered. Then lung capacity increase, sure, stick that in there too. Joints will be thankful, they sure will. So we're gonna let one biker pass first. And yeah, so joints. You're walking on an even surface, you're stepping over whatever roots, holes, and whatnot else. That definitely will increase your joint stability and strength, preventing further, or not preventing, but lowering risk of injury. We should be accurate. Okay, that's another physical thing that's going to benefit you covered. Then let's go with some more benefits for physical health. Posture, one thing, which is going to be helpful. Now, carrying a backpack like this, so having some load on you, will definitely help with your posture, because you're stabilizing muscles for like your spinal erectors and whatnot else will work overtime and therefore help with your posture. Also, being under load like that will increase your muscle strength and hopefully get you a little bit of muscle mass if you're carrying a little bit of a heavier backpack and going cross country like this. Alright, then there's some fun time if you're on a bike, jumping, going all the way down there, which would be insane. But yeah, some people do that too. Okay, we got that covered as well. What's next? Then we have benefits for your immune system. It definitely gets a boost. You're surrounded by all kinds of different life, and that will in turn affect your gut microbiome, which means you get healthier gut. Who doesn't want that? Yeah, those tiny little microbes that are all around you here, they get inside your gut and they help give you a boost. That being said, there's also some research to suggest that kids who are exposed to these kinds of environments, so it doesn't have to be a forest, mountain, sea, or other nature areas, are less likely to develop some sorts of diseases, sure, but also allergies and things like that. So definitely, if you have kids, bring them with you on a hike. Not a too dangerous hike, though, right? Speaking of danger, we can cover some downsides of hiking, and then we'll end on a positive note with some more benefits. So, the downsides. We said danger, right? So it could be dangerous depending on where you are, because there could be some like wild animals that are not that friendly if they see you, like a hungry wolf, bear, or some wild cats. Although those are hard to spot, they'll see you, you won't see them. So yeah, wild cats, put them in there as well. All kinds of other wild creatures that could be dangerous. You should respect nature, so know your surroundings, go with somebody, get informed with like a local guide, get a map. All that can help you to avoid danger and stay safe. Then there's also a higher risk of getting injured compared to a walk in the city or an urban walk, since like here, all kinds of stuff that could help you trip. So, yeah, try not to trip, try not to get hurt, but know that there's a higher possibility for it. So you have to weigh your choices. Get proper equipment like shoes, proper hiking shoes. Get somebody to, again, accompany you, because if you get hurt, they can signal for help. They can carry you maybe. Anyway, it's better to be with someone than just hurt and alone in the jungle. As you might hear, I'm not that far from the road. I'm not gonna say I'm in the jungle, but you might go to a jungle one day and enjoy it. Why not? So there's that. Then let's return to some benefits. Oh yeah, and it's not accessible to everybody. That's probably clear. So you might not be able to do this every day. That's okay. Try and do it maybe once a week or once every 2 or 3 weeks, like once a month, depending on where you are. Still, it's going to benefit you, and it's good for you. Look at this, right? So yeah, some other benefits. Going up and going downhill. Benefits to both. Going uphill is definitely harder in terms of strength needed, so you'll need to use more energy, more strength. Then again, ergo, your strength will improve. Then other benefit of going up, again, as we said, harder, so you're going to be using your lungs more, which will then lead to your lungs having better, higher capacity. Now, going down, oh, not a good angle. There we go, professional cameraman. Going down has its benefits. One of them being you need to be hyper-focused, not to trip, not to fall, because falling downhill is definitely going to hurt more than just falling on a flat or uphill surface. So, falling on an uphill surface, I imagine just falling face up, face down onto a hill and not rolling down, just to make that clear. Anyway, you don't want to fall down, so you need to be more focused. Then your knees will be more engaged. It will be beneficial to your knees going downhill, but just for some period of time. If you continuously just go downhill, it's going to negatively impact your knees, so have that in mind. Balance will definitely improve more with hiking, but also going downhill. And let's end this on an extra nice note, which is mental health. Being in this type of environment, so everything's green, nice, and in your case probably even less loud, since I'm near the end of my path and there's some loud noises coming from the other side. There's some construction, but in general, when you are hiking, you don't hear those kinds of noises. You just hear some birds and the wind, so much more relaxing than the city area. Your dopamine goes up. That would be the hormone that makes you happy, and cortisol, or your stress hormone, goes down, so you're much less stressed. Anxiety goes down or away, and you get to be more relaxed, be happier. On top of all that, you get to increase your creativity, since you're surrounded by things that are, well, natural, I was going to say, but that are not so mundane and boring, like being in an office, for example, or being stuck in four walls. This lets your mind wander to many different things, which leads to boosting your creativity. And that can be beneficial to you in all kinds of ways. So, yeah, go hiking when you can. Don't worry about the steps, the distance that you cover. Try and go a little bit more every time you go, if you feel like it. If you don't, if you're not feeling that well, just go for a short hike. It's always going to benefit. And that should be that. This would be a nice time to conclude. And I think we could go for a bit of a run. What do you say? Sound good? Awesome. So let's go running. Welcome back, folks. Now we're running a little bit, and you might want to have a better running surface than I do at this moment. Since I'm running on the ground, on the grass, you want to have a better surface in terms of the layout. So you want it to be more synthetic, rubbery, because it's going to be, might not be easier on the joints at first, but definitely on the long run it will, because here I don't know if I'm going to step onto some uneven surface, or if there's going to be a hole in the ground, stick, anything like that that might trip me, whereas running track would be better. Now, the only reason I'm running here is it seemed more ideal since we were hiking a moment ago. Plus, there's the element of more quiet, and hopefully the video wasn't too shaky while I was running. Now, the benefits of running, as I'm sure you would like to know, they, compared to walking, running builds more strength and more muscle, depending on how you run though. But like jogging, for example, definitely has a higher impact on your joints than walking. Because of that, it builds stronger joints, but also there's a higher risk of injury. So you want to take it slow, and you want to warm up first. You don't want to just go ahead and run, I don't know, like 10 miles if you haven't ran for a long time. So take it slow, take it easy, and then step by step, little by little, improve your running distance, running speed, so on. But yeah, so it improves your joints more, gives you better VO2 max, which means like your lung capacity improves, cardiovascular health is at a higher level than just walking. And to top it off, if you're sprinting, it builds muscle. So you get an improved muscle mass, which also improves your bone density. Not as much as strength training and lifting heavy stuff, but it will still work wonders for your body when you do sprinting. So it works almost all the muscles in the body, or a lot of them, especially of course on your legs and your core, but you move the entire body, so almost everything is working. Another thing that we already mentioned, so the risk of injury, it is greater with jogging compared to walking, but it's even greater when you're sprinting compared to when you're jogging, obviously. So what you want to do, as we mentioned, you want to be prepared, but what you also want to do is spread it out. So you don't want to sprint every day. You can walk every day, that's fine. But running, you want to do maybe 2 or 3 times a week. So depending on your goals, if you're a professional athlete or just doing this recreationally for your health, it's obviously going to differ on how much you run and how often in a week. But in general, you want to do it 2 to 3 times a week. You want to walk every day, and also for sprinting and jogging, you want to jog 2 out of those 3 times and sprint just the 1 time a week. That would be kind of what we're looking for when we try and generalize this. Of course, it's difficult to generalize for all ages and lifestyles, but just as a general rule for like longevity and health overall. One more thing that I guess I should mention is, which you obviously know that already, but it's good to combine some of the things that we mentioned. So like you could first walk, then you could run. So you could walk for a mile and then run for a mile, or combine and mix, like you walk a little bit for like a minute, then you run for a minute, and then that way you build your stamina if you're a beginner at running. So you run a little bit, then you walk a little bit, then you run some more, and over time, gradually, you improve. That should be it, in short, at least, for running. Watch out, just one more time, to avoid the injuries. Don't run too much all of a sudden, and try and run on softer surfaces rather than harder ones, especially if you have like problems with your knees, and you might experience that at some point. There's a thing called the runner's knee, which is knee pain basically from running, and it happens either when you're running on a hard surface or when you're running for long durations, or you haven't ran for a long time, and then you start all of a sudden, then your body needs to adapt. So yeah, try and protect your knees. Running backwards or walking backwards is something that helps strengthen your knees, one of the things at least. So do that, but do it safely. Turn around every time and make sure the surface you're running on is flat, not like this, since you would easily fall if you were running backwards on a field like this one. Anyway, that should be it on this segment for running. I hope it was helpful, and what's left for us is to wrap it up and say a few more words about things we didn't mention in this whole video. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Now, swimming is one of the best exercises for your health, even better than running. One of the reasons being that it's less hard on the joints, it improves cardiovascular health, as well as your muscle
and bone density. Well, muscle mass, bone density. It's improved also on, that is, it improves your overall risk of death by about 20% in some studies. And all you need is about 30 minutes for 3 times in a week. 2 or 3 times a week, 30 minutes of swimming pool, or the beach that's just your preference. Beach would be a bit better because of all the salt and other minerals that are in it, so it helps also with your breathing. It helps with asthma, for example, if you have it. It's good for people that are, maybe this would be a better angle. It's good for people with some injuries, because then you can swim without such effect of gravity on your body, and you also get the benefit of this good air. Even if you're in swimming pool, it will help with your breathing, because breathing technique is the important one. Okay, hope this helps. See you in a bit.
Okay, so the last video was maybe a little bit too noisy, or maybe you had trouble hearing me, so I'll just sum up the things I said there and add a few things that weren't said in that video. And it ended a little bit abruptly because I was preoccupied with all the things in my surroundings, and I was watching out because I knew some of those beach bars were about to play some loud music that might have entered then the video, and the YouTube then might have demonetized it, and it would have been useless. So just wanted to share a little bit from my vacation. I thought the atmosphere was lovely and thought you guys should get something out of it as well. Now, going back to swimming, let's recap just quickly why it's one of the best things that you can do, health-wise and in terms of negating the negative effects of not moving. So, swimming compared to running, walking, and the exercises we mentioned before has much less impact on your joints. So, because the gravity there is much lower in water, your joints are not affected. So your knees, ankles, etc. are not feeling it. So that's one thing. Another thing is your lung capacity increases, breathing gets better, blood flow as well. Depending on what kind of style you are swimming, you're going to have different breathing techniques, obviously, but all of them will benefit you. And depending on your level, of course, you could swim more rigorously, you could do harder or more difficult styles, you could do ones that are more relaxing, you could do ones that are better for your back, and so on and so forth. So that's all on you, how you want to swim and what would be most beneficial for you. Next, we have blood pressure. So overall blood health is increased rapidly with swimming. So that's one thing to focus on. Depending on your age, you might have problems with any kind of cardiovascular issues, that is. But even if you don't, you're building for the future and you're ensuring that your health is at an optimal level with exercises like swimming. Next, we want to mention that you could swim, of course, in the pool if you don't have the sea near you, or if it's too cold, or for any other reason that you don't want to go to or can't go swimming in the sea. You could always visit like a local pool and do your swimming there. It's almost the same. It's going to have almost the same kind of an effect.
although swimming in the sea will be better for your skin because of all the minerals that are there, and will help with some things like, for example, if anybody has eczema or any other kinds of skin conditions similar to it, then we have things that like improve your mental health overall, which is true both for swimming in the pool and swimming in the ocean. However, swimming in the ocean will have more of a benefit overall for mental health. So you can go there by yourself or in a group. It's gonna have benefits. Group swimming, of course, checks that box of socializing as well, so you might as well do that if you have some friends that want to go with you. Then we have, so we said mental health, cardiovascular health, joint pain relief, things like that, muscle as well, building muscle because you're moving all that water around you, there's resistance there, and so that helps build some muscle as well. And that would be the main benefits of it. There are some others as well, but let's just stick with these as they are quite significant. Now, I don't want to waste too much of your time in this segment, but that's swimming for you. Go swim. If you can't swim or don't know how to, go learn. It's not that difficult. Once you learn it, you'll know it forever, just like riding a bike. So get to it. Okay, on to our closing segment then. I'll see you in a bit. We can't talk about movement and not mention sports. So far, we've mentioned activities that you can do on a daily basis, which are pretty much solo activities. Granted, you can go out for a walk or run with a friend or a group of friends and socialize that way, and that's great as well. But sports bring a whole other dimension, so that's why they need to be mentioned. There's all kinds of benefits that sports bring, and each individual sport is a beast of its own, so we can't cover all of that in this video. We should make one video per sport and go into details for that sport, and that would be fun, and hopefully we do that. But for now, let's just talk in general. So let's go over some benefits, some downsides, and then give an overall look. Now, benefits of sports in general are many, but we'll go with three main ones. So there's the physical benefits, physical health benefits, mental health benefits, and third one we'll just leave for now and we'll mention it, but let's see here. The physical benefits are obvious, but each sport has its own physical benefits that it will bring. Having said that, your body will look differently depending on what sport it is you choose to do, or if you do it. So you might want to have a look at the athletes that are playing that particular sport and see how they look like, and if that's what you're concerned, of course, about, then just go with the sport that provides you with the body that you would like to have. If that is not your concern, that's legitimate, of course, and it's a minor thing. Health, on the other hand, is a bigger, major concern, if you ask me, but it's, of course, individual. So, health benefits, physical health benefits for sports are immense, but yeah, they'll bring you benefits in terms of cardiovascular health. You'll get more muscle mass, which will lead to all kinds of benefits like insulin sensitivity. Your body will be able to regulate blood sugar better. You'll get better sleep. You'll have more energy. There's all kinds of things like that, but also they can benefit you if you have certain problems, like for example, if you have back pain, swimming is a great way to help you alleviate some of that pain. Or if you don't have back pain but have some back problems, like your spinal column is not how it's supposed to be, you have some issues there, then that can be also, swimming can help with that. So physical benefits, that's one. Mental benefits, in terms of mental health, so socializing, we mentioned that. Even if you were participating in swimming, as we mentioned, as it doesn't have to be, it can be a group sport, but it can be a solo venture as well. So group sport in swimming would be like if you're playing water polo, individual would be if you're competing in a 100-meter dash or swim. Now, for that, if you're doing it solo, you'll still have some social interactions, at least with your swimming coach, but also with people that are going there to swim as well, so your swimming buddies. So social, that's one thing. The other extra, so third, mental, it's also under mental benefit, but it's the third option that I was mentioning, is the fortitude, type of mental fortitude that comes with sports, as it's challenging, and there are a lot of challenges on your journey when you're practicing whatever sport it is, so you're challenging yourself to become better and better to reach whatever goal you set for yourself. That's one, but you're also overcoming the difficulties. So there's a difficulty maybe if you're running out of breath, so with your stamina, it could be with a certain skill that you're trying to do, like with playing football, for example, or how to throw, how to kick a ball, anything like that. So there's all kinds of challenges that you'll have to face that with sport you can overcome, and then you can feel much more confident later on. That goes for almost any sport. Now, some of the downsides, and we'll go over them quickly, are, again, some for individual sports, some have higher risks of injury, for certain types of injuries as well, some high risk of injuries for your, for example, back, others might have for your legs, joints, and so on. Contact sports, like, for example, martial arts, boxing, or we have contact sports like football. There you might get hit in the head or hurt your head, which is one of the more serious ones, so put that into consideration when deciding on going or having, for example, your kid go. That's for physical, so high risks of certain injuries, and there's also high risks of some infections, for example, like people who are practicing maybe jiu-jitsu, which is popular at the moment, they could have some high risks of getting lung infection or skin infection, so on. So there's that. Now, even though those are not light things or things to take lightly, they still are outweighed by all the benefits that sports bring. So, yeah, having a sport injury can suck, but still having played that sport for such a long time has brought you so much more than just that short, hopefully short amount of pain that you might feel, and then you could recover and move past it. So definitely way more benefits than downsides. And think of the downsides if you don't play sport or are not active, then they are far, far greater. Now, one last thing that I should cover. I'm not saying you need to play a sport, you just need to be active. The beauty of sports is that there's a lot of them and you can choose whichever one you like, and even if you choose the one that you don't like, you can switch and get into another. So nothing to worry about there. But the activities that we mentioned before are also things that you can do, and you can choose which one you like best or which one suits you best. Now, ideally, you would want to mix those. So you want to choose a sport that you like, and it's going to be easier for you to then, of course, practice that sport because you like it. But also, you can do these, for example, daily walks or go for a swim every now and then. So mixing these activities will give you far more benefits, which is what I would recommend, at least or for you, or if you are, if you have a friend who's inactive, or a child again. So being physically active like this will definitely give them all kinds of benefits, relieve some pain that they might have, or put them in for a brighter future. That would be it for now. So hopefully this gets you more active and out of that seat. I hope, at least. And think of it this way, like you are buying more quality time for yourself with this. So being active gets your health in on a better level, and that way you get to have a better quality of life, and you can even prolong your life, so benefits longevity. So definitely it's one thing, the major thing that you should take home from this. So being more active will give you more comfort in the long run. The more you do it, of course, the more benefits you'll get. But being active buys you time, more quality time that you can spend with the people you love, or even if you're like a loner and you might say, I don't have anyone, this buys you more time to meet someone and then spend that extra time with them. So think about that. Anyway, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for your time, and hopefully see you next time. Take care.